All right, this is the continuation of Nick Hinton's A Conspiracy Thread, the Atlantean Time War, and Gnostic Apocalypse. So Nick continues on saying, in its timely discovery should come as no surprise, though, considering Crowley's ideas about Babylon and the new Aeon actually came from John Dee, a Gnostic Christian who believed he was channeling Enochian angels or Nephilim back in the late 1500s. John Dee was also the prolific mathematician and medieval computer inventor who helped Queen Elizabeth I orchestrate the colonization of America, but it was only a part of his plan to reestablish Atlantis in a new age, where these angelic entities would walk among us once again. However, even these ideas were rooted in the text of much older Gnostic writers who believed time and space was an artificial construct intended to imprison the soul. They thought this spiritual prison of physical reality was created by the God of Abraham, who was actually an evil deity separate from Christ called the Demiurge. The true God was actually a goddess, but she was in prison too. So they wanted to destroy the universe. In order to escape or ascend, they began doing sex magic rituals they believed would break the world open like a cosmic egg or crack the firmament. A few years after Crowley's death, Parsons would also die from an explosion in a laboratory. Some said it was set up, staged by assassins. Others said it was simply the result of a stupid mistake. Either way, the traumatic event triggered Parsons' wife, Marjorie Cameron, to spiral into insanity. She tried channeling her late husband's spirit and ended up believing she was possessed by Babylon. She also started a psychedelic sex cult of so-called moon children and began having apocalyptic visions of UFOs rescuing humanity from an asteroid by taking people to Mars. Nevertheless, like Parsons, Robert Anton Wilson was an adherent of Crowley, and this is where his ideas about chaos magic, goddess worship, and chapel perilous actually came from. Wilson even named friends with people connected to MK Ultra, the CIA mind control experiment that aims to put people in the same dissonant and suggestible state as chapel perilous. These friends included other adherents of Crowley, like the infamous transhumanist psychologist Timothy Leary and the float tank inventor and neuroscientist John C. Lilly. Timothy Leary and the float tank inventor and neuroscientist John C. Lilly, after experimenting with psychedelics, these seemingly sane and accomplished men both claimed enlightened aliens from Sirius were using synchronicities to guide humanity into a new age. Lilly believed they were also the ancient Atlantean ancestors of dolphins. And oddly enough, CERN's satirical rainbow universe from 2015 contained an artifact in the data that, when recreated in 3 dimensions, appears to be the ghostly outline of a dolphin. On April Fool's Day the year before, they said they shot lasers at a dolphin as it echolated and saw a rainbow burst from its beak. Why do the jokesters at CERN love dolphins and rainbows so much? Perhaps it has something to do with Apollo, the Greek god, who appeared as a dolphin at Delphi, the sacred site of a high priestess or oracle who channeled Apollo from a bottomless pit while he was away in a dreamlike world called Hyperborea, where Atlantis once was, at least according to some occultists. Ironically, CERN, who works with a company called Oracle Cloud, has a machine called the Delphi Experiment, and the facility was supposedly built on top of an ancient temple that was once dedicated to Apollo. And right here, this is Robert Anton Wilson's trilogy book with the Black Pyramid, the Great Architect, basically Lucifer, dolphins, black and white chessboard, John C. Lilly, Timothy Leary. And it goes on to say the Hyperborea is essentially another version of Shambhala, the dreamlike world the Buddhist Messiah Maitreya meditates in until humanity is ready for him to usher in a new age. He is similar to the occult concept of a cosmic Christ or a Gnostic version of Jesus, who wasn't actually the Abrahamic God incarnate, but only an enlightened being. Coincidentally, some Christians believe when CERN finally opens a black hole, it will create the biblical bottomless pit, which releases the demon Apollyon, or the destroyer, at the end of time. There's even a statue of Shiva, the destroyer, dancing inside a portal or stargate near CERN's entrance. Oddly enough, conspiracy theorists claim the gravitational field around CERN's black hole will pull an asteroid out of the sky and down to Earth, which seems to line up with the biblical end time prophecies about a star that falls from heaven and carries with it the keys to the bottomless pit. Perhaps this asteroid will be 99942 Apophis, which is named after the Egyptian god of destruction, and will make a close approach to Earth in 2029. In another biblical end times prophecy, the star that falls from heaven is called wormwood. Wormwood is named after a plant that's associated with the green goddess Artemis, Apollo's twin sister. And Crowley claimed he had a vision of Babylon rising out of the abyss, riding on the back of a dolphin, the symbol of Apollo mentioned earlier. The Bible also calls the bottomless pit the abyss, but it also uses the word abyss to describe the cosmic ocean or primordial chaos that existed before the creation of the world. So will Babylon appear after chaos theorists at CERN cause a glowing green asteroid to fall from heaven? Will this also result in an alien invasion and UFO rapture to Mars? Maybe this event is associated with the pale green horse of the apocalypse too. In the book of Ezekiel, the pale horse represents a plague of wild beasts. Perhaps the green glow is radiation, and the wild beasts are mutated animals like government-created chimeras, cryptids, and clones, or Nephilim. Funny enough, Bill Cooper used the symbol of a pale horse to represent the global takeover of the New World Order, which he believed was being orchestrated by the Illuminati and a group of evil extraterrestrials who interbreed with humans like these Enochian angels. Robert Anton Wilson made similar claims in his most influential book series, the Illuminatus trilogy. In fact, it was the inspiration behind the seemingly prophetic Illuminati card game. Today, many of these ideas are being spread by people like Alex Jones, who has worked for the same Discordian publishing company Wilson once worked for. Alex Jones also seemed to replace Bill Cooper after he was killed by a police officer, which some say was a result of Cooper realizing he was groomed into a disinformation agent by handlers who pretended to be government whistleblowers. Likewise, a hero of the hippie movement named Ira Einhorn was in prison after he thought to expose his friends who were involved in the predecessor to Project Stargate or the Round Table Foundation. He claimed Andrija Puharich wasn't actually helping people channel aliens, but subjecting them to mind control experiments, which some were kids or so-called space children at the Glen Cove Christian Academy in Maine. Before being arrested, Einhorn murdered his ex-girlfriend. However, some say he was actually framed by the CIA. He is now known as the Unicorn Killer. And here is the Green Comet. Here's Bill Cooper's book cover to his book. And here is Shiva right outside of the CERN entrance. And I will continue the next two threads, which will conclude this thread in the next video.